Good morning. My name is Kimani here, and what we're going to be discussing today is the implementation of close and active reading strategies within the 10th grade Alabama ELA standard of critical literacy and reading 1. Now, what we need to establish first and foremost is what exactly is close and active reading. Now, close and active reading is reading various texts, watching media, listening to music, and looking beyond what the text is actually saying or what the song is actually saying, and looking for those deeper meanings. This can either take place as reading why the author wrote the story the way they did, or why this musician used specific sounds the way they did. It's just the implementation of looking beyond what is physically present. And now the main issues. How can we relate close and active reading strategies within this 10th grade Alabama ELA standard? Now, the standard we're choosing is specific. Is the critical literacy reading one standard. Now, what critical literacy reading one dictates is that students should be able to read, analyze, and evaluate complex literary and informational text written from various cultural perspectives with an emphasis on works originating from outside the United States and the British Isles from the 1600s to the present. So this means it can range from poets of Senegal, South Africa, short story authors in Venezuela to China. It's just simply a multicultural outlook onto the various literary works that are across the world. And the main issue is how can these uh, close and active reading strategies coexist within the 10th grade ELA Alabama standard of critical literacy reading one. Now, what I found is that there needs to be a basis made of two main things. That first thing, it being a basis of prior knowledge. We know as educators we need to develop said prior knowledge before the start of any lesson. And that is essentially true for close and active reading strategies. You want to either play a video of the author's life to generate some idea of what they were going through in the writing of the story, or it can even be personal experience if you know the issues of the author's going through and elaborate that for the students. Even historical context with videos of historical events that occurred during the writing of this story and how that historical event plays a role into the writing of the story. And that second phase for which to form that basis is actively choosing good literature that both achieves that multicultural aspect that the standard is looking for, as well as that time frame between the 1600s and the present. What I found is David Diop, a Senegalese poet, whose poem Africa shows the brutality that comes from colonialism, while also showing the beauty that colonialism sniffs out, along with poets like Gabriel Mistral from Chile, whose poem Drinking shows the relationship between mother and daughter that almost surpasses human comprehension. Now, although these poems themselves are very in depth and can sometimes be challenging, there's a plethora of other resources which we as educators can use to convey that multicultural standpoint, as well as challenge our students to really harken on these close and active reading strategies. Now, once that basis has been laid, there are a few assignments that I would personally recommend. Now, what I would recommend is a book club. Now, this could be take the format of either sitting or organizing desks to the circle, build that sort of community sort of vibe. Furthermore, you as a teacher are the facilitator of the discussion being had. Whether you've chosen to read these works in private or as a group, you now work as the mediator for discussion. I'm asking questions of how does this make you feel, or How did the author's work impact you? How did you believe the author portrayed this message? What messages do you think can also be taken away besides the general consensus? Another activity that I would like to do coincides with one of my favorite quotes by one of my favorite personal chefs, Massimo Bottura, which is to learn everything, forget everything. And what that quote dictates is that you learn as much as you can about a certain subject, and that in that learning, you know which rules can be broken. And that coincides with this next assignment of reading that literary work, understanding why it functions the way it does, why the author chose this word, why the author made the characters function the way they do. And then the assignment will be to change the ending or change the impact of the story itself. You understood why the literature works the way it does. So now you understand what you have to do as the writer to break those rules. Now, in of itself, that assignment correlates to the ultimate goal of this, which is developing higher order learning within your students. You have to think critically in order to effectively close and active read a story. You have to analyze the text beyond the words that say. You have to enhance your own vocabulary so that you can gain a deeper comprehension of the text itself. In order to effectively close and actively read, you have to develop this higher order learning. They work hand in hand in the overall development of your students. And with that comes the very benefits of close and active reading, which is that ability to think critically, to look at text beyond what is written, to look at information beyond what is written, to look at the world critically, beyond simply literature, to look at historical events critically, to look at even scientific processes critically, to think why do they function the way they do, to ask these questions, to further gain an understanding of whatever topic it is that you are currently studying. And it is with those benefits that all come from the implementation of closely active reading strategies, while also maintaining that basis for the 10th grade ELA reading standard that is established through critical literacy and reading one.